If someone had told me a year ago that I'd drive up a mountain, turn onto a dirt road I'd known since I was a kid, and find an entire neighborhood sitting where my family's forest used to be, I would have laughed and told them to lay off the whiskey. But that's exactly what happened. I lost my land without ever selling it. And the worst part is, it wasn't an accident. It was done on purpose. My name's Evan Cole. I'm 46, structural engineer, divorced, 2 kids in college, drive a 10-year-old pickup that smells faintly like coffee and old gym socks no matter how many times I clean it. I'm not wealthy, not powerful, not connected. I'm just a guy who inherited 52 acres of mountain land in northern Colorado from my grandfather, a man named Harold Cole, who bought that land in the early 70s with cash and stubbornness, and the kind of discipline they don't make anymore. He used to say, "Land is the only thing they're not printing more of." He wrote everything down, every fence repair, every tax payment, every tree he cut. He kept those records in these old leather notebooks that smelled like motor oil and pipe tobacco. When he passed, the land came to me with a single note tucked into the deed. Don't let anyone take what's ours. I didn't visit the property for 3 years. Not because I didn't care, but because life got loud. Divorce, court, lawyers, 2 kids starting college, 70-hour work weeks. I paid the property taxes every April like clockwork. Never missed a year. Never missed a payment. I just didn't go up there. In August, I finally took a week off. Threw my grandfather's ashes in the passenger seat, pointed the truck west, and drove toward the mountains thinking about fishing quiet and maybe finally sleeping without my phone buzzing. I turned off the highway, took the old fire road, and that's when my stomach dropped. The trees were gone. Not thinned, not trimmed, gone. And in their place, streets, sidewalks, light poles, mailboxes, beige houses with fake stone and tiny balconies that went nowhere. I slowed to a crawl, my brain lagging behind what my eyes were seeing. There was a stone sign at the entrance. Polished, expensive, Pine Ridge Estates. A Bend community. I checked my GPS, checked it again. Pulled over, opened the deed on my phone. Same coordinates, same parcel number, same land. Only now it had 68 houses on it and people unloading U-Hauls. I sat there for a full minute with my hands on the wheel, just breathing because my body didn't know what else to do. Then I drove forward. A security guard stepped out a little booth like something out of a bad movie. "Residents only," he said, already annoyed. "I own this land," I said, holding up my phone. He smirked. "Sure you do. And I'm Brad Pitt." Before I could say anything else, a white SUV rolled up behind me. Shiny, new, expensive. The window lowered and a woman leaned out. She had that look. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, sunglasses bigger than my future. The kind of confidence that comes from never being told no. "What's the problem, Mark?" she asked the guard, not even looking at me. "He says he owns the community." She finally turned, gave me a once-over, boots, flannel, dusty truck, and smiled like I was a stray dog. "Oh, honey," she said, "if you're looking for construction work, you're late. Crews are full." "I'm not looking for work," I said. "I'm the owner. My grandfather bought this land in 1972. It's in my name." She blinked, then smiled wider. "That's adorable. We acquired this property legally. Our attorney confirmed it was abandoned." "It wasn't abandoned. I paid taxes every year." She leaned on the door. "That's not how adverse possession works, sweetie. You should talk to our legal team before you embarrass yourself." Then she did something that froze my blood. She took out her phone and snapped a photo on my license plate, just in case you get any ideas. Her name, I later learned, was Marissa Langford, president of the Bend Board, Queen of Pine Ridge, and the woman who would spend the next 6 months trying to destroy my life. I drove home shaking. I spread every document my grandfather had ever touched across my kitchen table. Deeds, surveys, tax receipts, 48 years of proof. On Monday, I called her lawyer. His name was Daniel Reeves. He didn't even take the call. His assistant offered me $15,000 and a quitclaim deed. $15,000 for land worth over $4 million. That's when I knew this wasn't a mistake. This was a play. I needed a real attorney, not a strip mall generalist. I called an old college buddy who worked in land development. He gave me one name, Rashad Kimu. Her office was quiet, smelled like old books and lemon polish. She listened without interrupting, looked at my documents, and then she smiled. "They're lying," she said, "and they know they're lying." I asked her what to do. She leaned forward. "First, you do nothing." "What?" "Let them build," she said. "Let them finish. Because if we stop them now, this gets messy. If we let them finish, you won't just own land. You'll own houses." I didn't sleep that night. I thought about families moving in. Kids, dogs, Christmas lights. I thought about my grandfather's note. And I hired her the next morning. From that moment on, my life split into two tracks. The one where I went to work, made dinner, pretended everything was fine, and the one where I watched strangers build homes on my land while a woman with too much money and too little conscience smiled at me like I was already gone. And I had no idea, not a clue, how ugly she was about to get. Once you know someone is stealing from you and smiling while they do it, something shifts inside. It's not rage right away. It's this cold, tight feeling in your chest, like your body knows a storm is coming before your brain catches up. That's where I lived for the next 3 months. Half man, half clenched jaw. Rachel told me, document everything. Every visit, every sign, every interaction. And don't confront her again. Let her get comfortable. So I did. Twice a week, I drove up to Pine Ridge, parked on a public road, and filmed. Framing crews, electricians, concrete trucks, landscaping, families doing walkthroughs with realtors, smiling like they'd just won the lottery. And every time I watched them, I had to remind myself they weren't the enemy. They were just people who didn't know they'd bought stolen land. Marissa, though she knew, the first time she spotted me filming, she froze. I saw it from a distance. That moment where your face goes blank because your brain is scrambling. She pulled out her phone, made a call, and 20 minutes later, a sheriff's cruiser rolled up behind me. Young deputy, polite, uncomfortable. "Sir, we got a call that you're harassing residents." "I'm on a public road," I said, "and this is my property. You check my ID, check the records, came back quiet. Look, if she calls again, I have to respond." Translation: she has money. You don't. I kept filming. A week later, I got a certified letter from Daniel Reeves. Cease and desist. Harassment. Trespassing. Threats of legal action. There was a photo attached. My truck, circled in red. Rachel laughed when she saw it. Not a chuckle. A full laugh. "They're documenting their own fraud," she said. God, I love it when people do that. It didn't feel funny to me. It felt like being hunted. Then the complaint started. Code enforcement called me. Said there was a report of illegal dumping on my land. Hazardous waste. Old vehicles. Debris piles. I drove up immediately. Nothing. Just their houses. Their lawns. Their driveways. The inspector, a tired man named Carl, looked around, then at me. "Someone filed a false report," he said. "Came from the Ben office." I asked him if this was normal. He paused, then said quietly, "Every Langford project I've ever inspected had neighbor complaints filed right before final permits were approved. Every one. Pattern." I went home with that word ringing in my head. Pattern. That's when I started digging. County records, business filings, corporate registrations. Marissa Langford wasn't just the Ben president. She was married to Derek Langford, a developer with a trail of lawsuits in 3 states. Construction defects, investor fraud, quiet settlements, all sealed. This wasn't her first time. This was her system. I sent everything to Rachel. She called me an hour later. "This is bigger than I thought," she said, "and dirtier." Then Marissa went public. She posted in the local community group. Tag me by name. Photo of my truck. Plate visible. Alert. This man has been stalking families at Pine Ridge. Taking photos of children. Making residents feel unsafe. Sheriff notified. Please report sightings. My phone exploded. Texts. Calls. Messages from people I hadn't spoken to in years. My daughter called crying. "Dad, are you in trouble?" I opened Facebook and felt something cold slide down my spine. Hundreds of comments. People calling me a creep, a predator, a threat. Someone posted my address. Someone else suggested I be handled. I didn't respond. Rachel told me not to, but that doesn't stop it from hurting. It doesn't stop your hands from shaking. It doesn't stop you from wondering if someone's going to throw a brick through your window. My boss called me into his office 2 days later. He closed the door. "Evan, a client asked about you. They saw something online." I nodded. Couldn't speak. "We're putting you on paid leave," he said. "Just until this clears." Paid leave. That's corporate for